U Oxfordu, najstarijem univerzitetskom centru u Engleskoj, gradu usnunih tornjeva, u kojem je Tolkien, otac epske fantastike, izmaštao nove svijetove, na spratu puba iz 13. vijeka stanuje porodica Kecojević. Aleksa, menadžer puba Turf Tavern, po mnogima najboljeg u Oxfordu. Anđela, spisateljica, pozorišni stvaralac i pedagog, i njihova djeca Dimitrije, Danijela i Januška. Engleskinja Anđela Holbert je 90. godina prošlog vijeka došla u Crnu Goru kao animator za turističku agenciju Jugotours, a iz tog jednogodišnjeg angažmana razvila se skoro trodecenijska crnogorska priča Anđele Kecojević. Anđela bi rekla Nikšićka. U rodnom gradu njenog supruga donedavno su je znali kao šarmantnu Engleskinju koja kao da je tu rasla. Odnedavno, u okviru Fondacije Marija Kotri, Anđela Nikšiću daruje i dio svog kreativnog dara. U Engleskoj je poznata kao autorka knjige Hobble Down, a ta umjetnička proza je idejni projekat za jedan od najpoznatijih zabavnih parkova u Londonu. Park Hobble Down, prestižnom turističkom destinacijom, čine oživljeni likovi iz njene knjige. Anđela Kecojević stvara i na drugim umjetničkim poljima, uglavnom za djecu i mlade, i pokušava da svoje znanja o kreativnosti prenese na djecu, naročito u oblasti kreativnog pisanja.
I'm a children's author, so I live in Oxford in England, and I write children's fantasy fiction. I also teach creative writing. So I'm the author of Hobble Down, which is a children's adventure book. It's pitched at all ages. So a 3-year-old could have the book read to them by a grandparent, and a child that can read alone can just read that through. It was intended for all ages. Hobble Down's also an adventure park in Surrey, so it actually is a theme park that exists. And my characters are alive and walking around, and which is quite nice for me as an author. It's not very often you can have your characters in a book and then actually see them walking around. So that's really, from an author's point of view, that's fantastic and quite rare. So the book was created to tie in with the park. So there's a theme that runs through the book and the park about little people called hobblers. And there's a fairy there, and it's quite, it's very sweet, I think, for ages up to about 12, and it's very popular. It's voted one of London's top 10 attractions, so I go there with my family and we take lots of photos and really enjoy that. So Hobble Down was written in 2012, and then I've spent the last year writing a science fiction fantasy, and I'm represented by Lisa Barbalis at the Curtis Brown Agency, one of London's top literary agents. So I was really lucky that she took me on this year with my new book, so that's quite exciting. So we're just getting that finished now and ready to go out for publication. And that's a science fiction fantasy for teenagers. Yeah, so I teach creative writing in Oxford in primary school. So I teach children from 5 years up to 11. So I go into schools and teach creative writing and encourage children to write creatively without worrying about grammar or those kind of basic things that an English teacher. So that's, my role is to get their creative onto paper, which quite often is overlooked in schools. There's a lot of, targets, things like that. So that's, I don't get involved in that, but I want to help them write creatively. Many children lack confidence with their writing I think it's really important to bring them out. One of the best things I learned, I think writing is very subjective. I think because I love a book, someone might not love it. So I try and teach children that everything they write, someone will love. There will be an audience for every person's book. And we were talking about Hobbledown, about my work as a writer, what inspires me, the writing process, and things like that. I also have my own theatre group called Oxford Theatre Elites, which is for teenagers again. And so I write the script for that, and I produce that and I direct it. So it's always quite a busy time for me. Writing is my favourite thing. I find everything inspires me. I have quite a crazy imagination. If I'm sitting and writing, I get up most mornings about 6 o'clock and I sit and write, and I could write all day. I do enjoy it. I have a great passion for it. But again, when I go into schools and I see a child that's gone from saying I can't write, I can't do this, to actually creating something, and they're excited and happy, again, it's rewarding, and it makes me feel nice that possibly I might have helped in some way. But no, writing is my main passion. I completely love it. So the creative writing classes that I run in the schools, it runs for an hour. The children sign up for that through part of their extracurricular activities. We have a minimum normally of 10 children up to 20 children per group. And that's normally a free programme organised through the school. And I basically teach them the basics of book writing. So we do lots of different small activities in just getting them going, getting them started, getting their imagination working, and then we progress into how to create a story, how to create a story arc, how to do characterization, how beginning, middle and end, lots of basic story writing necessities. So the classes run for 8 to 10 weeks, and they go right the way through, and hopefully by the end of it they can confidently draw together a story and sit back and be proud of it. And my first visit to Montenegro happened about 25 years ago. That's when I fell in love with the country. I came as an entertainer with Yugo Tours, so that was a UK company. So my job was to run an entertainment programme for English visitors to the hotel. So I sort of ran a programme 24/7 really. So it was good. It was fantastic. It's really good. I did. My husband had a bar in Petrovac, and I met him then, very tall, dark and handsome, as we say for the Montenegrins. And we met there. And I was in Petrovac for just under a year. And then we went back to England and got married and had 3 children. Every year, three or 4 times. We come every year and we spend the whole summer with Baba. And we go on the coast, we go in the mountains to Jablyak and Nikšić, but Nikšić is my first love. It's my favourite place.
U Nikšiću, za nju gradu tišine i posebnog mira, Anđela je provodila ljeta, a od 2017. član je Fondacije Marija Kotri, kao prijateljica te porodice, ali i kao osoba posvećena humanitarnom radu i promociji umjetnički nadarene djece, zbog čega visoko vrednuje rad fondacija. Rukovodilac je škole kreativnog pisanja na engleskom jeziku, koju za osnovce iz Nikšića organizuje Fondacija Marija Kotri. Anđela Holbert je sada u Nikšiću svoja na svome, jer, kaže, podučava djecu onom što je za nju najveći izazov, kreativnom pisanju, kojem u Engleskoj posvećuje znatan dio svog umijeća. Taj dar doveo je u najljepši svijet knjige, a posvećenost drugom, briga za čovjeka, upoznali su je sa drugim, možda najvrednijim svijetom darivanja. U tom svijetu i riječ je djelo.
I've known Svetlana for a very long time. Probably when I first came here, I must have been, I think, 20, 21 years old, and I met Svetlana, always very beautiful. And we sort of clicked and made good friends. And I used to come on my own in the summer and stay with my mother-in-law, Svetlana. I'd spend time with her. And she didn't speak any English, so Svetlana always knew some English and we'd go and have coffee and catch up. And it was really nice to have a friend. So she was my first real friend in Montenegro. And I would spend time with her. So I've known her for years, and obviously she got married. And I had Marija and Marija. So I knew Marija since she was a baby. Beautiful, sweet, smart, clever, intelligent. So we've known the family for years. We've all sort of grown up together. My children were a similar age. My children played with their children, which was fantastic. Yeah, sure. So obviously the foundation is to promote creativity through children in schools, to promote track awareness, health and safety on the roads, trains, which I think is paramount. I think it goes without saying that needs to be the first priority. And then obviously, as I said, Marija being so creative, so talented, I think if we can just take that element and bring that to children, whether it's in Nikšić, Montenegro, anywhere in the world, they can take something from her gifted capability, if that makes sense. I think my role, for the foundation is to bring my knowledge and what I can do, hopefully to other children, and let them benefit from it. So every school has an obligation to provide an extracurricular program, and all children in every school must take part at the end of a school day. They must at least once or twice a week participate in a creative activity, and that can be art, singing, playing a musical instrument, orchestra. They must show that they're having some involvement with an extracurricular activity. There are hundreds of clubs. They pop up everywhere at the theatre group, art group, camera club, Rubik's Cube club, quiz club. There are so many clubs, and I think it's the schools play a really strong part in this. They do make that part of the programme. Children shouldn't go home at the end of the day and say, I had nothing to do really, or there was nothing arranged for us. It's always there. It's just your willingness, I think, to get involved. Children are taken on lots of events to learn, whether it's a history event. I think same like children here, you've got history trips for all different subjects. There's a trip that they can go and learn something. So I think we're really, it's a really sort of strong point of ours that we make sure children get out and learn about the world. But writing is my passion, and it's kind of what I hope to bring here and what I hope to produce through the foundation, sort of inspire children to write. Trying to help today for the foundation, the children as well, to let them understand that all of their writing was good, and there would be an audience for each person's work, if that makes sense. Yeah, it was fantastic. So today was the first workshop, so it was in creative writing. So we did a workshop on imagination. So it was getting the children to take their creative, what was in their head and getting it onto paper. So we had a lovely group of students from across Nikšić, and they were amazing. They were so talented. Their English, their knowledge of English was just brilliant. They all spoke perfect English. So they needed to write a story. So we spent about an hour and a half working through how to create a character, sort of doing character profile, and then getting to actually write a story. So by the end of the workshop, they all actually had an amazing piece of creative writing. I think they were all really happy, and obviously the workshop was conducted in English, which I think, it was just amazing how much they knew. I mean, most of them were sort of 13, 14, 15, and they spoke English as well as I do, so that was fantastic. I think as well the children here learn English from a very young age. I mean, in England we take a language on, I think when we're 5, we go to school a bit earlier. In England they normally take a language from 5, but I don't think maybe it's enforced as strongly as it is. So the children today, or the students today, their English was exceptional. I think they spoke English so well. So I think, their ability to write, and from the work that we saw today, their ability to create stories in another language was really amazing. And I think if that was reversed, I mean, English is such a strong language everywhere, whether it's films, I think, they really absorb it and pick it up. So I think if children possibly in England were going to try and write a story in a different language, again, it's got to be a language that they're familiar with and comfortable with. And I don't know, I think, whether it's Russian, Italian, French, it's still, you don't watch as many movies, etc., and things like that in that language. I think it's great here that you have such a strong, everyone speaks English now wherever you go. So I think for children writing in English, it's never been a better time, really. I think for the foundation, I think the people of Kecojevic are starting to embrace. I mean, having a foundation over here is quite a new thing from what I've heard, and then I see how big that is in England and how open we are to that. And I think people mustn't shut themselves away from that. They need to make sure they talk about it. I mean, social media is huge, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. There are so many ways to get messages across, and I think everyone, I do believe that they should help the foundation as much as possible, whether it's just promoting, whether it's a simple tweet or a Facebook share. I think everyone can still pull together and help on that. I think just to sort of maybe close your curtains and turn away from that, I think we owe Marija as much as we can to bring her goodness and sweetness and talent through other children, if we can, through the foundation. I just think everyone has a responsibility to help where they physically can. I think that's really, really important. I think the foundation, there are so many people living in Kecojevic and Podgorica everywhere in Montenegro. Many will have heard of the foundation, and I think everyone has duty is not the right word, but I think if you're sitting at home thinking I could possibly help or do something, then I think then try and do it and try and help. I think acceptance is the main thing that people need to learn with humanitarian things. It's most children in England, you have special needs in each school, so they know straight away from the age of 4 they're going to be maybe with children, whether they have Down syndrome, autism, ADHD, deafness. They're integrated from day one. There is no separate group. Their assemblies take place, that's always there. So from day one they know that they all need to be together and they need to learn and work together, and I think that's really, really important. If you walk through a high street in England, we have maybe 4 or 5 charity shops on every single street, and the money goes to all these different foundations, different charities. We have children's foundations, we have Oxfam, British Red Cross, animal hospitals. We're really good with that, and this money goes to such good causes. And most schools have regular humanitarian events, whether it's a cake sale, you're selling cakes, money goes to a foundation. We have lots of charity runs. There was a run recently in Oxford for Parkinson's, and a good friend of mine was running, and you just raise money for awareness for that charity. And that's on a weekly basis, and I think that's something that would be fantastic if it was embraced here. There's no reason why that can't be an ongoing thing, and often I think people need to, instead of standing back and watching, think, why am I not doing that? And I think for the Marija Kotri Foundation, whether it's a fun run or singing, or everyone can contribute. There's no reason why you can't help do that as well. And I think we're really good at that in England, and it's across the whole country. We have, whether it's the London Marathon, half marathons, there are a million different things that you can take part in. It doesn't cost money. I think it's just your time. And I think again it's acceptance and your time, being prepared to give up, to try and help. And I think as human beings we all should help a cause if we can, rather than sit back and watch other people do it. I think that's really important. I think there's no reason why everyone shouldn't play their part, whether it's for this foundation or to help a child or an adult in need. I think we all have a really strong responsibility to participate and help.
Priču o humanosti Anđela je kao dijete naučila i usvojila u Engleskoj. U njenoj zemlji ta priča veoma je važna i bezobalna je. Nije to samo materijalno, mjerljivo davanje. U suštini humanosti su, kaže Anđela, emocija, dobrota i tolerancija, a upravo te kategorije imanentne su biću crnogorskog čovjeka. One su vidljive i čitljive na ulici, u razgovoru, u susretu, običajima, ophođenju, u ritmu i načinu življenja u Crnoj Gori, naročito u Nikšiću. Susret sa svijetom darivanja u Nikšiću, koji joj je upriličila Fondacija Marija Kotri, upotpunio je Anđelinu od početka lijepu sliku o gradu u kojem je bila prihvaćena i koji je razumio i kada je govorila samo rukama i pogledom.
So I came over with my husband the very first year. We just got married, and I came over and spent a month on my own with my mother-in-law. And my husband stayed back in England working, so I was on my own with my mother-in-law, which was great because I needed to speak the language. There was no getting around that, you know. Otherwise, we were going to spend a month trying to communicate with our hands. So I really, tried to learn the language, and I managed to get Baba to say a few words in English. She would say egg and I would say egg, and we would kind of go from there. So it was lovely, and I have a really lovely mother-in-law. She'd be very happy I said that. She's really, really, really nice, and she's very tolerant, and she's always been really good with me. And I spend a lot of time with her when I come on my own. Often, my husband gets a couple of weeks, but I come with the children, and they love her very much. So we have spent over the last 20, my son's 24, my oldest son, so we've spent a lot of time with her. And we have a good relationship, which is lovely. I went to night school and learned Sobokrat at the time, as it was known, in Euston in London. So I did a course for about 6 months just to try and learn the basics. I mean, the grammar was really difficult. But I decided if my husband speaks perfect English, if he could speak my language, why should I not speak his language? I thought that was really important. So I did night school, and then just decided, okay, if I come over here, try not to speak English. So I think my language just built. The more time that I spent here, the better my language became, and obviously the children speak both languages too. It's not easy, and I make lots of horrible mistakes, but no one really corrects me, and I just think it's important that I made an effort to learn. Razumela sam 90%, razumiem dosta i dobro, moram polako, moja gramatika nije dobra, može bolje. Sve razumijem, ja mislim, samo kad počne politični, jes, onda je to, počne mi probleme i ne razumijem, dobro, ne volim da razumijem. Može da razumijem, može samo polako i razumijem. And when Porto first opened, actually, I used to do, so the work came to me, I used to do a lot of their translation work for their magazines and for their websites. I think there weren't many English people actually that, as I speak your language, okay. So it's quite nice for me to have the text in the language and be able to sort of help translate or write original text as they required. So I did work for them for about 2 years. And then I think obviously more people come over here that were English, so they had a base here, but I sort of did a lot of their work for them. So yeah, that was really good, and Porto is beautiful. Not as lovely as Nikšić, but beautiful. I think Nikšić has a lot of character. I think the people, it's just very different. I think it has a really lovely vibe. I think the people are very down to earth. I think you have everything here that you could possibly need. It's not, I live in Oxford, and it's busy. You can't cross the town without 1,000 tourists in front of you. Whereas Nikšić is just, it's a lot more leisurely. Even if you see the cows going up the hills and towards the school field. So it has a charm that really appeals to me. It does inspire me. I wrote a story quite a long time ago, probably one of the first things that I sat and wrote. That was actually in Bubba's garden. It was so peaceful, so quiet, which I don't get back in England so often. So it was just lovely, and I think actually that was the moment when I went, this was just beautiful. I just think Nikšić is a very wonderful place. I like I like the rhythm, the pace. It's calmer. It's not so crazy. I think it's just you're a very peaceful nation. The people that we have a lot of at the moment. There's a lot of stress in England as a country, but a lot of problems. And then when you come here, your children are very free. I mean, my own children couldn't play out on the streets or anything when they were younger. You wouldn't just open the door and let them go and play. You would take them to the park and wait till they'd finished playing and bring them home again. And even now, you're still quite aware of where they are. You need to always follow that because it's just a very different place to bring up children. Whereas we used to come here and they would play around Bubba's house, and it took me a while to switch off from that. At first I was very nervous, but they were out on their own playing because it wasn't something I was used to. So that was a big deal for me, and I think that was one of the reasons possibly why I fell in love with the country so much, was that the children did have that freedom that they don't have in England as much. And obviously now, they're older, but I think for them, when they come here, maybe with their own families and their own children, I hope that that's something that's important for them as well. Montenegro is it's beautiful. I think it's very breathtaking. England is quite a visual place as well. It's architecturally great, but I think there's something here about the mountains and the sea. I think the people are very friendly, very warm, very welcoming. And I think especially for me, I didn't speak any of the language when I came, but they were all good and they tried to help. And I think the more maybe that I integrated and tried to speak the language, the warmer that they were with me. I think you're very proud people, yeah? I think quite proud, and I think you're very strong people. I think so for example, I mean, English men, for example, cry very easily, yeah? They would kill me for saying that they do have that kind of, they show their emotions a lot more. I think Montenegrins are a little bit stronger and tougher and won't show that. So yeah, I picked that up. I think you're very strong characters. Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying that every country is so different in their mannerisms and their way, and I think every country has their good traits and their bad traits. But no, I think you have a good balance here. I think, and I think times have changed. I think I came here 25 years ago, and I think, it's a very different world now. It was a time when possibly you didn't see a female making a drink or anything. You didn't see a male making a drink or anything like that. Whereas now, it's it's very much how everyone does it. It has changed a lot. I think it's evolved a lot, and I think that's good. Yeah. So all of my family are in the United Kingdom. My mum used to live in South Africa. She was in Africa for most of her childhood. So when she was 12, she came back to England and lived, and obviously met my father. So I have two sisters in England. I have quite a big family, but not as big as you have families over here. Your families, especially Kecojevic family, is very, very big. So I kind of feel I've really come from quite a small family into a family. I think there's several hundred members of the Kecojevic clan. That's the right word to use. So my roots, I think I'm the first one to sort of come across to Montenegro, but my mum's been here and loves it, and my sister's been here. So yeah, I said, they all need to come and see how beautiful it is. No, we would like to come and spend more time here. I think when we're a little bit older and a little bit greyer, we might find time to balance that. Pa sigurno, doći će u Montenegro da živim kad imam 60 nešto godine, ili ja bi sutra.
Ritam grada je u krvotoku njegovih stanovnika ili posjetilaca, ljepota grada u njihovom oku, a umijeće življenja u bilo kojoj sredini u osjećaju za drugog čovjeka i razumijevanju drugačijeg prostora. Tim znanjem Anđela Holbert-Kecojevic, umjetnica u nervu i po vokaciji, usaglasila je dva sasvim različita svijeta, oksfordski i nikšićki. Oboma daruje svoj životni moto. Onaj ko otkrije jedno darovito dijete ili jednu osobu kojoj je pomoć potrebna, otkrio je novi svijet, a onaj ko da šansu toj darovitosti ili jednom čovjeku podari punoću življenja, stvorio je novi svijet. Svojim knjigama, pozorišnim predstavama, školom kreativnog pisanja, parkom koji je sagradila njena vizija, Anđela je postala vlasnica lijepog i dragocjenog svijeta.